Hello everyone, welcome to another EV Ramblings video. I'm here at Jenner Chevrolet in Victoria, British Columbia. They've been kind enough to let me borrow a brand new Chevrolet Bolt. Yes, I have been in a Bolt, and I did do a driving reaction video. That was when I was over in Vancouver several years ago, right when the car had come out. But it's been several years since I've been in one. I've driven a lot of other EVs, and now that I'm looking for an electric vehicle for myself to replace my 2011 Chevrolet Bolt, the Bolt is right there at the top of the list. So let's take it for a drive and see how I think about it a few years on. All right, here we are inside a brand new 2019 Chevrolet Bolt Premier trim. So this is the one that has all leather and Bose stereo system and everything that I would actually want. Now, first thing stepping into here, it's been a while since I've sat into it, is I don't recall the headroom like this being so high. Okay, well let's adjust the seat a bit. That's how it is. And let's foot on the brake power button like every other vehicle. Oh, let's make sure we don't have any music blaring at us. Let's go to, whoa, that is some maximum temperature.
This vehicle is in demonstration mode, connected by OnStar's high-speed 4G connection. Press the blue OnStar button to learn more.
Alright, well apparently we're in demo mode. Let's go to my apps list. Energy? That's what I want. See, are there any cool graphs? Let's go here. Technique, terrain, maybe. Alright, so it is cold. We are in late November 2019. Now, oh yeah, so this has a steering wheel, I imagine. So I'm going to be treating this just like my regular driving reaction video. It's been long enough that years since I've driven a Bolt. Like I was one of the first ones to drive one when I was in Canada, and a lot of competition hit the market. You have the Tesla Model 3, you have the Hyundai Kona electric, you have the Kia Niro. There's also a ton of other cars coming as well, like that are a little bit larger. The Ford Mustang Mach-E, the Volvo XC40 Recharge, I think it's called. Plus like the Nissan Leaf. That's always been a competitor as well. And then you have like the Ioniq, even the brand new one has a ton of battery life. So I have to say though that the inside of this car, I have a 2011 Volt right now, and this does all feel quite familiar. It does feel a little bit narrow, but everything just feels right. Now, if I recall, there's a button on the side of here, so it's for this shifter. You have to, when you first put it into some kind of drive, either drive or reverse, you have to hold a button on the side, but up and over is reverse and down is drive. So let's just go into drive. There we are. Actually, let's go into reverse. And this car does have this Premier, so it has the 360 surround. There's going to be a bunch of condensation and frost on that, so it's a little bit fuzzy, but back down to drive. And away we go. Oh, and then we have, right, this thing. I don't want to push the button because my microphone's on there, but this is the camera rear view mirror. That actually is putting a huge smile on my face. I don't know why. It's just so cool. I think that's a really neat piece of tech. Like, I'm glad it also functions as a mirror, because if your camera dies, like you need a rear view mirror, right? So my plan is to take this on a similar route that I took the Kona. Luckily that goes by my house, and I forgot my remote control to turn these cameras on and off, so I need to go back to my house. So I am in drive, just whatever the default settings are. Battery's about just above half, and it's projecting up about 194 kilometers of range. So that's with the heat on. The seats are nice and heated right now. I will say that this video camera messes with my vision a little bit on this rear view mirror, but yeah, this car does feel really nice. Okay, I remember in my video being in Stanley Park in Vancouver for the Bolt, my driving reaction 4, and I was laughing like an idiot. And I thought maybe I was just getting caught up in the moment, and the Kona was like an awesome, like I was having a ton of fun in that car. This car is faster, absolutely, in Accelerate. Just doing that right there, I just gave it a quick jab, and it was just instant. Ridiculous. I'm not even in sport mode yet. Now, where's my... Oh yeah, L's back down. Oh, that's so much stronger than my Volt. I didn't use the brake at all there. That's awesome. Get in drive. So, yeah, this is top of my list, and also, like, this first came out in 2017, and so that means it was for sale, I think, at late 2016. And so all those 3-year leases are ending too, and we're already seeing used Bolts pop up. Sure, like the Bolt hasn't sold as well, like the Model 3 has already outsold the Bolt by a considerable margin, but there still are a lot out there, especially in North America. And so finding a used one is actually going to be very easy, very shortly. And I'm not even really going to focus on the range. So this car has a 60 kilowatt-hour battery, but that's enough to get you anywhere on your regular daily. There's very few driving scenarios where this car wouldn't work for you on a regular basis. This also would be my primary car. Now, I guess let's talk about interior. A lot of people like to complain about the seats. Tons of people complain about the seats. And even I, in my first video, before anybody even brought up the whole idea about the seats being uncomfortable, we drove from Vancouver to Squamish, that's over the Sea to Sky Highway, the famous Sea to Sky Highway, and then back. And then I was actually like, man, like I'm getting sore on the side there. And I'm not sure. Yes, I think these seats could be better. They could be wider. They are a fairly narrow seat. Well, that's a big... But I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's fine. Like, ever since all this has been coming up in my Volt, like I consider the Volt seats to be ultra comfortable. And when I'm in a seat for an hour and a half, 2 hours of driving, I get tight and sore. I need to move around, and I don't think that it's any different with this car, actually. Like right now, just sitting in it immediately, it's fine. It feels great. I'm actually kind of happy with how much support that the back is offering. So I don't think that's a big deal. Now, the other thing that some people complain about is plastic. So much plastic on the inside. That's one of the other biggest complaints about the Bolts. The interior is all plastic. It's cheap. I guess I could see why you'd have that viewpoint. Like, this car is hitting close to the the Premier Edition. I think it's hitting close to the $50,000 Canadian price point. And when you think of a $50,000 car, you think, yeah, this is going to be like a luxury car. And this isn't. This is not a luxury car. It has a lot of luxury car features, but it's not a luxury car. And I guess complain as much as you want, but plastic is typically durable, it's light, and electric vehicles are ultra efficient. But we've seen some very large electric vehicles that aren't ultra efficient, and what comes to mind is a Jaguar I-Pace. It has like a 90 kilowatt hour battery or something, and some people are only getting 280 kilometers or something out of that. Like, it's ridiculous, and it's because the thing is so huge and heavy. And so I have to think that maybe General Motors, it could be that they either did it because they want to save money, but they also could have done it, this plastic interior, because it saved weight, and that was just to get this car to go as far as it can per charge. And to me, that's an important feature. That's something that I think I would rather have. I'd rather have that longer distance than to have some plush interior. And like, this is nice. The ergonomics of sitting inside here is very nice. It's very comfortable. So, for all you interior haters, I would say that I think you are wrong and barking up on the wrong tree. There's no complaints from me here. Okay, I'm back. Got my remote. So, let's take this car out for a drive. I also have my decibel meter here, so we're ready for that. Now, let the car turn on. Oh, I also got a USB. Listen to some audio. So, go in reverse. So we see we have the 360. Oh, park brake off. Now, one thing I haven't really tried with this car.
This vehicle is in demonstration mode, connected by OnStar's high-speed 4G connection. Press the blue OnStar button to learn more.
So one thing I haven't really done with this car is single foot driving. So let's give that a shot. So I have it in L mode. I'm gonna see how far I can get without using the brake pedal. The regenerative braking on this car is huge. And so basically how regen works, if you're not familiar, is it's an electric motor and you just reverse the polarity and send a little bit of power to it, and it creates this electromagnetic field that's resistance, and the more resistance there is, the more energy it regenerates, so that just goes back into your battery. So I come up to a stoplight here, gonna ease off the pedal, try to keep it smooth, easing off, easing off, easing off, off, stopped. No, full stop, no brake pedal. And when you're driving in L, like you have oh, that's ridiculous. You have full access to everything. And actually, I think I might need to adjust that a bit. You have full access to all your power when you're in L still, which is nice, just though it has that much higher level of regeneration. So when you let go of the accelerator, the car starts slowing down right away. And my Volt doesn't have this. My Leaf didn't have this. It does have an L mode, but it's just very mild. It just does, like, you can't stop the car. And so this is really, I don't really get practice doing it, and it seems like it's just second nature. It's just as I'm lifting off the pedal, the car is slowing down as I would expect it to certain varying degrees. That's kind of transforms the way you drive a car. If you haven't experienced it in an electric vehicle yet, I encourage you to. It's quite a neat sensation. Alright, so, same spot, we're going 50 kilometers an hour. You know what? It's quieter. It's about 57. So the Bolt at 50 kilometers an hour is quieter by about 3 decibel, give or take. Not a lot. Like, they're still both ultra quiet vehicles, but this car does feel more like a quiet tune place to be. It's definitely, and this car has the same thing as I said about the Kona. When you're in the Kona, you felt like you were in a much bigger vehicle. The Bolt is similar, but in a different way. Like, there's more room around me, so I feel like I'm in a bigger space, but the vehicle doesn't feel big. Like, for some reason in the Kona, I felt like I was in like an SUV. This car, I don't get that at all. I get that I'm in like a smaller vehicle, but I have a bunch of space inside. Alright, now let's go for the decibel test here at 90 kilometers an hour. About 65. So that's the same as the Kona. So when you get up to a certain speed, such as what we're at right now, you're going to be getting a lot more tire noise and just a higher wind noise. So this has about the same audio level at the speed, at a faster speed as the Kona, which is, that's fine, that's totally usable. It's good, it's quiet. I have to admit that I think the interior, though, like how it's designed and shaped, and how the Kona wraps around you, I prefer that style of car. So in that, I'd have to give the Kona bonus points. But my experience with people who've driven, like when I had a Leaf and a Volt, I had both those cars, so I'd let people drive them. People much preferred the more open air feel of the Leaf compared to the Volt. Like the Volt was just this big, well, the Volt wraps around you and you're low and you can't really see very well out of it. So I think if the average consumer would much prefer a Volt over like a Kona. Okay, well, I actually got to Goldstream Campground, and turns out it's closed at the end of fall, so I can't really do anything there. So I just turned around and I'm going to drive back to my place where I can do a cargo test of the vehicle, compare that to the Kona. But I'd like to just take a moment here to thank Jenner Chevrolet in Victoria. Now, some manufacturers have given me some opportunities, but for the most part, though, those opportunities are few and far between. Like, this is just something I do on the side. And I really rely on dealership networks to get me into vehicles. And I had reached out to Jenner actually earlier in 2019, and that's when the federal EV rebate just hit. And they didn't have any Bolts. They were sold out. So I had actually arranged to get a used Bolt, but that fell through. And so yesterday I just said, hey, to Jenner, do you have any Bolts that you could borrow? And they're like, yeah, we're totally down for that. And so I showed up this morning. Totally easy to get into one. Everyone there was friendly. They were really asking me tons of questions about electric vehicles, which is great to see engagement on that level. And so yeah, I really appreciate it. And if you are interested in electric vehicle, like, make sure to check them out if you're in the greater Victoria area. I believe they have, well, they had a bunch of Bolts on their lot when I went there, and that's awesome to see that there's actual inventory there. And just so you know, I am 1 foot driving here. I'm not even thinking about it. Like, I was consciously kind of like, okay, I need to stop, but now it's just like, okay, I'll just put the accelerator off and the car stops. It's ridiculous. But now let's look at, you're on the market and you want to buy an EV and you don't want to spend too much money. But let's say you're buying new. So the Volt's been out for a few years. It's already been proven and tested. It's lacking some features that I know some people really want it to have. Let's put it back in drive. So some of these features would be like a hybrid heat pump system. This car just has like a resistance heater heating, and that does use quite a bit of battery. It's no joke. That's a considerable amount of electrical consumption. But the car still has 60 kilowatt hour. Now, in the higher end Kona, you can get a hybrid heat pump system. Sure, that's nice. The Kona, the Niro, and the Bolt are basically all in, and the Soul EV, I should mention the new Soul EV. They're all in like this mid 65-ish kilowatt hour storage, big electric motor, like 150 kilowatt electric motor. I'll include the Leaf as well. The Leaf can come in 40 or 64 kilowatt hour, I believe, storage, and similar specs on the electric motor. I think it's 120 kilowatt. So you have all these cars to pick from. The Bolt was the first with a big battery. It still, in terms of performance for like acceleration, it still kind of dominates. That particular segment. I'm sure the Tesla will destroy it, but let's say we're comparing those cars. But it's a good car. It's awesome. Like, I'm driving this car right now. Like, it's just, I don't care about the range. It has tons of range. It has tons of performance. It's comfortable. It does everything that I needed to do, and it's a good price. The Kona is a more aesthetically edgy vehicle. I think the Kona fits more into what people want the vehicle look like, which is a crossover segment. Yes, this Bolt is sized more like a crossover, but it looks like a hatch. And I think that probably turns a lot of people off, which is a shame because this is fantastic. This is great. But this, like, I just put in an L. I'm going 80 kilometers an hour down this ramp. I'm just gonna let go of the accelerator a bit. Yeah, and that's like slowing me right down here. 50, I've slowed down well enough for this yield, and I'm in, no brake. Like, that is butter smooth. That works so well. And the visibility on this car is ridiculous. I can see everything, and it has huge windows, which once again makes the outside of it maybe look a little bit odd, but I don't mind it. I like how this car looks. I like how this car drives. I like the room that it has inside of it. I like everything that it offers. And I would say that if you are in this market and you are looking at buying like a Leaf, for example, you should buy a Bolt instead of a Leaf. Like, no question in my mind between those two. You should be driving a Bolt instead of a new Leaf. Now the Kona, though, I love the Kona, and my wife drove the Kona, and I will say that, speaking of Kona, there's a green Kona EV right there. So that's a good reminder. I had my wife drive this car, and she loved the Kona. She was like, we should buy this car. And I was like, yeah, we should. But after driving the Bolt, she's also like, this is a great car. It's in her word as well. I didn't prompt her or anything, was this car drives so smooth. Way smoother than the Bolt, way smoother than the Leaf. Like, it just feels so nice. And there's, I don't know, there's not, the Kona's awesome. Like, I think it would be a toss-up for me. I would be happy with the Kona or the Bolt. Either way, it would be like, yeah, these are awesome cars. They have the performance I want, they have the range I want, they have the accessories I want. It's just the Kona has the sunroof, the Bolt has the Bose stereo system, which is a sell for me. I'm a Bose. I like the Bose in my Volt. I've always been a big person for audio in car, and I've always modified the stereo that comes with the car system. I've never left it as stock, but with the Volt that I have, with the Bose system, I've left it stock because it sounds perfect. And the audio in this car is super clear. I do like the bass has enough kick in it that I wouldn't touch the system at all, and that's a big selling point where everyone else, yeah, I don't know, I'm not, so that's a big selling point for this. So let's say that counteracts the sunroof. This car has more cargo space. So, hybrid heat pump, more on the Kona, more cargo space on the Bolt. There's lots of things that counteract them. Like, if you had one car that did everything, like if this car had a sunroof, had the hybrid heat pump, and kept all its other stuff, this would be like by far the standout choice. It's just there's a couple things that balance it out. So I think you can't go, if you bought a Kona, you did great. You did awesome. Good choice. You bought a Bolt, exact same camp. You did awesome, great, good choice. Like, way to go. So the Bolt's fantastic. I can see owning this. No problem. And like, the visibility's great. I'm driving with one foot. I'm not even thinking about the brake pedal. It's just awesome. Now, you need to drive this car. So when I did my first Bolt driving reaction around Vancouver, I was super pumped, but I was also really tired, and I felt like I was being time stressed a little bit, so I didn't have a lot of chance. But I talked about like the maintenance in that video and all that. So check out that other video if you want a different perspective. This is me trying to decide if I would buy this car, and the answer is 100% yes. I would buy the Bolt. And honestly, I think I will buy the Bolt. I'm not buying until next year. Now, the decision that I'm going to have to make, though, is whether I buy new or used. A new car, for anybody, it's tough. you do have a lot of loss in terms of initial, just your investment. Like suddenly when you drive it off, it's worth so much less money. But electric vehicle over a combustion vehicle, you're saving so much money in fuel and maintenance that loss isn't nearly as bad. I've already bought one brand new electric vehicle. That was a Leaf. I bought the Volt used off lease in 2014. So I'm tempted to probably just buy one of these used. Now, this is the crux though of what I want to say, and this is where I really struggle, is Tesla dominates the market right now, absolutely destroys everybody, and the Bolt sales aren't very good. And I'm looking at inventory now, and a lot of dealerships have 2019 Bolts sitting on there. These should all be gone, but so many people refuse to look at the other brands. They only look at Tesla. Or the flip side of it, General Motors is a very polarizing company in the public opinion, especially when you look at the video of who killed the electric car. A lot of people see General Motors as an evil entity, as this big company that doesn't care, and they don't want to sell electric vehicles. They only want to sell gas guzzlers because they make more money. And there's probably some stuff behind there, but they made this car. It's available for you to buy. It's awesome. Don't discount them because of your past experience or your beliefs about this company, that you think that only Tesla can save the world. Like, if people went and bought this Bolt, like if they just went and test drove it and they experienced it and they loved it, then you know what, General Motors sold all of them, they couldn't keep up with it, they would be making more electric vehicles. But that's not the case. Everybody's buying Tesla instead. So I'm trying to say is, you need to drive this car, you need to give it a chance. It's fantastic. Now, there is one other thing I want to say though, is all these people that are buying a Tesla, we have a snowball effect going on right now. A lot of people buying like a Model 3 right now, they're coming from a combustion car, and they're suddenly experiencing what an electric vehicle is like. It's like, holy crow, like I have all these, like the car accelerates immediately when I want to, and it's so efficient, it barely costs me anything in electricity, and it accelerates like a beast, and it's quiet, and it has all these things which are the same for every other electric vehicle. Yes, like there's a scale here. Yes, the Tesla accelerates faster than like a first generation Nissan Leaf, like it will destroy it. Yes, it goes farther, but it's all relative. That's when you're comparing EV to EV. When you're comparing combustion to EV, there's no comparison. Like, I thought my 2012 Leaf was the best car I had ever driven, and I've driven a lot of like high-powered cars. I just thought everything it delivered was brilliant, and every electric vehicle does that. So you have all these Tesla owners though who don't know that. They just think that the Tesla delivers this and no one else does, and so they are like amazing at converting people, which is great. Like, I don't care. Like, if everybody just bought a Tesla, that's fine. I feel that we need more competition though, and more options to get everyone in an electric vehicle. So you have this huge movement behind Tesla saying that our vehicles are the best, when really a lot of them have never actually lived with or driven any other electric vehicle, like a Bolt or a Kona or a Niro or a Leaf or i3 or any of those other ones. Where if they had started though, like, I guarantee that if you took all those other people that have a Model 3 right now and you erase all their memory and put them in a Bolt instead, they would be like, yes, this car's awesome, like it's so great, it delivers all these things. So just try to keep an open mind. And I'm sorry if I've offended Tesla owners, like that's not my intention here. I'm really just trying to give an open playing field. And you really need, if you haven't bought an electric vehicle right now, you need to test drive the Bolt, and you need to consider owning it because it's awesome. Alright, so I'm at my house. I think it's fair to say that I love this car. It's, oh man, one foot pedaling driving is awesome. Park. Power. Okay, well, once again, thanks to Jenner Chevrolet in the Greater Victoria area for this. Thanks for General Motors for building this car. I think it's great. And yeah, please look for some more future videos. I'm hoping to get a Nero soon. I'm going to start getting back into plug-in hybrids. I know that's been my jam for a while, and those videos seem to be actually the more popular ones, and it's a lot of people aren't covering plug-in hybrids, so I need to get back into that space. Maybe do the Nero plug-in hybrid. There's also the Mazda, now it's a crazy plug-in hybrid as well. But if you have any questions about any of the cars I've driven before, or this car, or comments, please write them. I will respond. I am very quick to respond. I think having that interaction community is important. And thanks for watching. Check out my blog. There'll be a link to it down below. And yeah, let me know as well if you happen to test drive a Bolt, or if you bought one. Please let me know. And if you are in the greater Victoria area or Vancouver Island and you go to Jenner, please also let them know as well that, hey, you saw Dustin Batchelor on YouTube and he convinced you to come and test drive one of their cars. And it might be this one if you come soon enough. So thanks for watching again. We'll, I guess, talk to you soon.